you cannot be kind, be quiet. With this in mind, we launch our Lashon Tova campaign against Lashon Hara. This will be a whole school conversation going forward and will inform the culture of the school. Lashon Hara, directly translated as evil tongue, gossip, or derogatory speech about another person. This kind of speech intends to demean another person and cause much pain. There are people that speak out of turn as if it is their right to do so, or because they feel it is their story to tell. What gossip or an evil tongue does in a community, and in our case a school, makes people suspicious of one another, and it breaks the trust amongst us all. Speech was never intended to harm. It was intended to hold communities together, to create trust, and to create an environment which is inclusive and supportive. In Tehillim 34 it is written, "Who is the man who desires life? Who loves days to see goodness? Guard your tongue from evil and your lips from speaking deceitfully. Shun evil and do good. Seek peace and pursue it." These sentences from Tehillim were relevant in biblical days, and they remain as relevant today. Today, with the advancement of technology, we are able to engage even more easily in irresponsible behavior. We can spread Lashon Hara with one text, an email, or photographs to hundreds of your closest friends. Why then do people engage in this kind of behavior? Some ideas could be that people engage in Lashon Hara because they feel superior, out of boredom, out of envy, to feel that they are part of a group, for attention, or out of their own anger, unhappiness, and pain. As the Lubavitcher Rebbe said, to be kind is more important than to be right. Many times, what people need is not a brilliant mind that speaks, but a special heart that listens. We are determined to create a culture in our school where we encourage people to be themselves and not to do and say what others want them to say or what they think they should say. We want our school community to be conscious and mindful all the time about what is right and wrong. We want a community that thinks before they speak. And so before you speak, let your words pass 3 gates. Is it true? Is it necessary? And lastly, is it kind? Let us step away from a shame culture and acknowledge that shaming shames you. Shaming shames me. Never speak ill of others, and stay far away from those that do.
When you use the word sham, you are talking about me.
When you say the word fag, you are speaking about me.
When you use the word fat slob, you're talking about me.
When you use the word pora, you're talking about me.
When you use the word kuli, you are talking about me.
When you use the word ranga, you are talking about me.
When you use the words dirty Jew, you are talking about us.
When you use the word yok, you are talking about me.
When you use the word chatas, you are talking about me.
When we call her a slut, we are demeaning our mothers and our sisters.
Sometimes the words that we say have a much greater impact than we imagine. When we say these words, we are actually demeaning ourselves and others. We must be careful with what we say.
Why do we gossip?
Good question.
We gossip because we have nothing better to do, make time pass.
Why do we gossip? I think to feel better about ourselves and to attach ourselves to the other person that we're gossiping with, to connect.
We want to compare our own to theirs. We want to see that they're just as valuable as we are, that they make just as many mistakes.
Most likely because it's kind of fun and it's kind of interesting and it plays to that low part of everybody.
I think people gossip because they're focused on what's outside of them rather than what's inside. The ego loves drama, so the ego creates drama and focuses on drama so it doesn't have to feel its own pain.
It makes people feel like better to talk about other people's damage and brokenness.
It seems inbuilt in human nature, though there are people who don't gossip particularly. I suppose the person who's gossiping gets a certain satisfaction out of what they're saying, even though it may be not very pleasant or very nice, it may be harmful.
It's the one time we get to completely forget about our own flaws and just focus on other people's. So there's a certain amount of joy in going like, you know what that guy really needs to do if he wants to improve his life? And then you go through all the things that they should do, and really, a lot of it you should probably do as well.
Yeah, I've heard about gossip that people have said about me. I've seen it online. People think I just dress the way I do for attention. I try to be like others, but I really don't.
I was with this girl for a while, and then we broke up, and people start talking about why we broke up. That's stuff that wasn't true, but because other people are talking about it, people think it's true.
Someone I knew many, many years ago, we were very close. I happened to come in one time and saw a letter in the typewriter. They painted me in an unpleasant, negative way. It just brought a friendship to a crashing halt, which could never, ever again be revived in the same confidence or the same closeness.
When people gossip about me, it's hurt my feelings, and I didn't want to get hurt, and I don't want to hurt other people.
Talking about someone in no way, shape, or form helps you or helps them, but if you talk to the person as opposed to talking about them, you actually get somewhere.
Chofetz Chaim concludes, one who desires life must guard his tongue from evil. Lashon Tova, the speech that is negative, that we are forbidden to talk. The negative speech, which when we hear, we are obligated to disbelieve. Lashon Tova has caused numerous tragedies amongst the Jewish people, beginning with slavery in Egypt, going down to where a generation of Jews were forced to die in the desert and were not allowed to enter Israel. It was the slander of the Jews that caused the destruction of the Beit HaMikdash. We have seen the severity of the anti-Semitic tongue, which has caused horrors amongst the Jewish nation. Don't let your words be the cause of our next tragedy. Shaming me, shames you and the entire Jewish nation.
Why is it that we insult someone or put someone down, but we always end up by saying, just joking? When that person reacts in a hurt manner, we defend ourselves by putting the responsibility on them and tell them that you are so sensitive. We then react by making it as if it is our own personal mission to train them to take a joke, build them up, to be tough. Even though we know it is hurtful, we say the same thing over and over again. Why is it that we trick ourselves into believing what we are doing is the right thing to do? I believe that the need to put other people down comes from deep within our own insecurities that come from our subconscious. We have our own fears, that we will not fit in, that we will not be good enough, the fear of abandonment. Most of us do not plan to say these hurtful things with the intention to make ourselves more secure. Generally, we don't do this with much consciousness or self-reflection at all. We may not understand or wish to own up to our own feelings of resentment, anger, and envy. Nobody feels good when they put other people down. And so, when we say something or do something hurtful, we expose our very own feelings. Let's strive to think before we speak. Maybe even ask ourselves if it is necessary to say these words. Perhaps, when we own up to our very own motivations and intentions, we may find the strength to not say anything at all. Shaming you shames me.
Gossip is something that we hear daily, and it is something that we are all guilty of passing on. Once we receive information, we make our own judgments about the story and pass the information on, adding in our own perspective. Once this information is in our hands, we feel special and powerful. We have the power to decide whether to pass it on, who to pass it on to, and how the story will be told. Even though we have heard the information and we were not directly involved in the story, we pass on the information as a face. We often do this even though we do not know the other side of the story. What is amazing is that when we get caught up in other people's drama, we don't focus on our own issues. It allows us, for a moment, to believe that we are okay, while others are not. The hurtful part of gossip is that, while it may give us a sense of control, we are causing the person that we are gossiping about to be completely powerless. We need to remember that we can destroy other people's lives in an instant. Shaming you shames me.
Talatonga, deur Matthew's Posa. Talatonga het ek. Een tong op 'n gegewe oomblik. 'n Heuningstong, 'n bitter tong. 'n Tong stomp genoeg om te swyg. My skerp tong klap soos asyn en keep diep en laat bloei. My seer tong brand soos asyn en laat krimp in mekaar en skend. Talatonga het ek. Een tong op 'n gegewe oomblik. My tong om te sny, 'n tong om te self. Ek het talatonga.
So in grade 10 one day when I was walking out of school, my school shoes were broken and the bottom of my shoes was coming off. And someone said, "You look like someone from the flats who has no shoes."
Often when I'm walking around the school, I hear just horrible words like fag and gay and homo just used in the worst way you can think of. It's become such an insult. If another guy calls you a fag, it's like it destroyed your character even. And then when I'm standing there and I know deep down that what I am is pure.
The situation with my dad passing away is bad enough.
When people see me, all they see is this look and they don't actually want to get to know me, they don't see the depth inside me.
Like, whenever it happened to me, I've always felt like an outcast. Like, I'm not normal like everyone else.
When people speak about me and I see the whispers and the heads that turn, I do know that you're speaking about me.
And it was really offensive. It was offensive to me because it made me feel less than what I was, and it made me feel insignificant.
And that who I am is not right, and
that spreads, and other people may think the same, or they may open up other things for people to speak badly or positively about them.
It makes me feel more and more insignificant each time it's said.
Just what that does deep down inside of me.
I try to let it go in through the one ear and out through the other, but it doesn't happen like that.
But I'm not taken into consideration. My feelings, what I'm going through.
What people say doesn't actually reflect on who you are.
People see other people, they have this preconceived idea that what they look like is what they're going to be about.
And it makes me feel like I'm nothing more than a story. That's what I've been reduced to.
I guess they just don't understand who I am.
They're happy it's not them.
My friends just told me, you know, oh, it's just a joke. There's no callous connotations to what we're saying. Don't take it in the wrong way.
Instead of wanting to know the story and what happened in all the koch,
they need to realize that once you say something, you can never ever take that back. You showing me your own insecurities.
It's your most intimate and darkest fears.
And you showing me that in fact, you are less than me.
And like, the change starts with you.
Next time you want to spread Lashon Hora, speak badly of someone or backstab them, think about what that person is going through. Because the truth is, you don't know what's happening behind closed doors.
Instead, work on yourself. Don't work on dragging me down with you.
That our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. My deepest fear is that I succeed. It is my strengths, not my weaknesses, that are hard. I don't proudly share my achievements because I'm scared of how you will react, of what you will say. Obviously she got 4 marks. What an overachiever. She must have spent her whole weekend working. She may be smart, but with looks like that, she won't get too far. We are always told to do something to the best of our abilities. But why is it that when we do something to the best of our abilities, people feel an urge to bring us down? We feel an urge to bring our friends down. When we hear something good about someone, why do we feel the need to backlash with a nasty comment? We bring people down. We make people feel less about themselves. What stops us from celebrating others' achievements is the need to cut the tall poppy down to size. The phenomenon is called tall poppy syndrome. The tall poppy syndrome describes aspects of a culture of where people of high status are resented, attacked, cut down, criticized or destroyed because they have been classified as superior to their peers. It is a cynical and sarcastic way to make people feel less. It seems ignorant, jealous, wrong. It holds people back. It is so important to all of us to be a part of a school that lifts us up and pushes us. But there are too many of us who suffer from tall poppy syndrome. Why do we belittle each other when it is so obviously wrong? Not one of us were put on this earth to get lost amongst the weeds. We were placed exactly where we are to be tall poppies, to be successful, to achieve greatness, and to honor others for achieving theirs. Shaming you ashames me.
Every single day of our lives, we talk. We talk as if everything we have heard is our story to tell, as if we have the right to pass on knowledge regardless of whether we know the true story or even the full story. Broken telephone, the age-old game of telling someone something in the hope that when it gets back to its source, it is the same story that was originally told. This game has never and will never work. However, it is not only a game, it is a constant in every one of our lives, because every day we are told a story that can be tragic and difficult, or even harmless. But the fact is that once that story becomes a part of our knowledge, we believe we have the power to tell it as our own. And often, we completely twist the story and even embellish it, to the point that when we get back to its original owner, it is no longer their story. Because we have taken their story, battered and bruised it, to the point that it is hardly recognizable. This is a form of Lashon Hara that is a big part of all our lives. Sometimes it is the only way we know how to communicate. We believe it gives us status and power as a narrator of someone else's story. However, this is not only inaccurate, but dangerous, because a story told wrong could be a story that destroys a life. Shaming you shames me.
Objectification, devoid of thought or feeling, and degradation to the status of a mere object. Objectifying is utterly inhumane, and it is simply disgusting. What are you implying when you refer to someone as vermin, as the Jews were during the Holocaust? You have been reduced to a wild animal, carries disease, is despicable, and even more than that, contributes nothing to society. We may not be able to hurt someone we view as human, but we certainly have no problem in getting rid of vermin. Be it from TV to billboard ads, objectification is so deeply ingrained into modern society that we fail to realize the full extent of its prevalence. For example, we refer to women as chicks, tarts, or bitches, and reduce them to inanimate objects or animals. Prior to the Rwandan Civil War, the Hutsis referred to the Tutsis as cockroaches. It became far easier to kill a cockroach who no longer had a human face. For those of you who have never experienced such abuse, the effects may be more subtle. But when we objectify people, treating them as if they are pieces of property, it impacts our own self-esteem and causes psychological damage that can destroy anyone. So the next time you want to dehumanize, demoralize, or even animalize someone, just think about the type of person you really are. Shaming you shames me.
The truth is, everyone has said something. The truth is, every one of us has spoken words with the intention of damaging the public view of another human being. The truth is, we've all been in this situation. The truth is, we have all been spoken about. The truth is, we have all been attacked by the spoken words that can destroy with more effect than sticks and stones. The truth is, we've all been in this situation. The truth is, we know how it feels, and we know when we are wrong. We know when the words are building or breaking someone. Why? The truth is, we do it to be significant. We do it to make our voice heard or create comfort in our jealousy. Or we do it because we are afraid of what that person is capable of. The truth is, we know why we're doing it. Yet sometimes these reasons are subconscious, deep within our thoughts and emotions, insecurities of which we are not aware. But the truth is, we are all human. The truth is, we have all done it, and the truth is, we are not bad people. But the truth is, these actions are a reflection of your character. The words you speak do not say anything about the person that you are speaking about. They say everything about you. And anyone who has the intelligence to see this will have the power to know your true character. The truth is, they will know your fears and your insecurities. To be fully secure, confident, and able is to live freely, detached from the flaws or strengths of other human beings. The truth is, shaming you shames me.
The power that words obtain in this world are unquantifiable. Their potential can become pure beauty or destruction, but their definite is that they are permanent.
Unlike most things in this world, words cannot be erased. Once spoken, heard, or seen by the receiver, they become embedded into their minds. A spread of comforting warmth is the reaction of kind and complimenting words. And an explosion of pain and anger can be a reaction of harmful or upsetting words. Most occasions, we have a choice whether to compliment or anger another person. This is a conscious decision. As you know, today is about Lashon Hara and how it should be eliminated from our lives. This reiterates the power which words have. Choose to utilize your words positively, because just as words have this intensity of power, so do you. One shared heart, infinite possibilities. Us as student leaders chose to take all our harmful words we wrote, break them apart and piece them back together in the right way to create something beautiful. This first step was to show you the power of words. The next step is for you to choose kindness over Lashon Hara each and every day, because you truly have the influence to change another person's life through the way that you use your words. We used your words to create something beautiful. This heart will be placed in the school as a reminder to always choose your words carefully. The area in which this heart is placed will be a Lashon Hara free zone, where no harmful words will be said, nor conversations about other people. If you have ever spoken badly of other people or shamed another person, know that your relationship with those people is not irreparable. We have chosen to wrap the heart, to show you that you can make an effort to mend your relationships and that you can heal a broken heart. When you leave assembly today, you will each receive a bracelet to constantly remind you to be kind and always choose kind, because shaming you shames me.
With this bracelet, I pledge to only use kind words.
With this bracelet, we pledge to only use kind words.
I've been at the school now for nearly 37 years, and for me this is probably the most meaningful conversation that we've had. I probably do not have the correct words at this stage. But first of all, I'd like to thank everybody that has participated in this assembly this morning, and to the members of staff as well. To those students in the video that were brave enough to share their stories. To everyone that has put this assembly together, the SALT team, to Ilan Coleman for the videos, and to Marilyn Jody. But my real thanks go to Mrs. Mazal Sachs. Mrs. Sachs already in 2018 believed that at times the school is unkind, that at times there are students that are just alienated, gossiped about, and she was intent in trying to make sure that we lived in a better place, that in fact the values of the school were espoused every single day. And so she made it her mission, and on a trip to Israel last year, she was put in touch with the organization of the bracelets that everybody will get this morning. She made sure that the bracelets were flown to South Africa. We have magnificent posters in every single classroom, and so that only kind words are spoken. And we will have designated Lashon Hara areas where people will only speak kind words. Mazal, thank you for making us so aware of it and spearheading this magnificent campaign. And finally, to you, the students, and to the parents this morning, when you sit around the Shabbat table tonight, or at dinner tomorrow night, or just on a daily basis, and you hear people speaking unfairly, people speaking about other people as if it is their story, remember, ask them, is it true? Is it necessary? And lastly, is it kind? And finally, if they can't stop themselves, make sure that you have the courage to get up and walk away.